political commentators, corruptionist, right-wing political commentators need to realise how dangerous it is messing around with people's psychology. And yes, it doesn't matter that they're adults. They're still as psychologically vulnerable as children. And political commentators on the right need to realise how dangerous playing with these people's psychology is. Because all that propaganda, all your disinformation you're putting out there, is all there to manipulate people to help the most corrupt parties get into power. And the thing is that by being bad faith, you're creating an unsafe society for everyone. Not just for yourselves, not just for your fellow countrymen and women, but also your own families as well. You're putting your own lives at risk of everybody you know and everybody you don't know through playing around with people's psychology. It's like playing around with dynamite. You don't want to play around with people's mental health. You don't want to play around with people's vulnerabilities, with their biases. You will have, and we are seeing disastrous consequences in society. It makes everybody unsafe. Left-wing people, right-wing people, minorities, asylum seekers. You're putting everybody's lives at risk when you prey on fear and scare tactics and disinformation, and you're wondering why what's radicalizing left-leaning people into violence. It's you, bad faith actors on the right, that are inspiring people into violence. And you're just lucky that most leftists, practically all of us, are normal, decent human beings. It's only deranged people that go out hurting people. Dishonesty creates chaos. Manipulating people creates chaos. Not honesty, not us exposing fascistic corruption or corruptionism, right? That's not what creates violence, it's dishonesty. That's what creates chaos. It's dishonesty, not honesty. You need to start respecting people's psychology. You need to start respecting your audience's mental health. You need to start respecting the people who don't even watch your show. You need to start respecting their mental health, because you're destroying relationships between friends and families, like you're coming in between my friends and families. You're wondering what radicalizes, like, both sides into political violence. Is you. Fear-mongering through minorities, not teaching about international law, about ethics, morality, utilitarianism. Like, making people ignorant is dangerous, which is impact psychology. You don't know who could be listening to your show, and you can't expect, people online not to call out your corruption and use correct terms, like the alternate term to corruptionism, right? You're trying to just intimidate people when it's actually you that's radicalizing both sides. And I don't want anybody to be hurt. I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want people you know to be hurt. I don't want strangers to be hurt. I don't want left-wing people, right-wing people, liberals, conservatives, any minority, the LGBTQ, like politician. I don't want anybody being hurt. Until we end the bad faith in politics, it's going to get a lot worse. You think you're going to continue to play with people's psychology and mental health and things not to get worse? Things are only just beginning in the UK, and it's going to get worse globally as well, until you cut out the bad faith and start having real conversations with people. Actually try to figure out how to respect religious freedoms, how to actually figure out how to solve the immigration problem, which is caused by corruption around the world and oppression. You've already got the hearts and minds of the Christians, of religious people, of conservatives. You don't need to, manipulate them through LGBTQ and pro-life. I'm pro-life. in the sense that I believe that having abortion is ending human life, but I believe that banning abortion completely is an unrealistic position. And it's just like, you can't, and like, preying on people's expectations of perfection, that in itself is psychological manipulation and deceit. You know, you can't completely get rid of abortion. What are doctors meant to do then? You know, lie to the risk of the mother or the child, and the doctor can't do what they need to do. You know, stop with the bad faith. Stop playing around with people's psychology. You need to cut it out for all of our sakes, for humanity's sakes, for our soul's sake. You know, I believe that in the next, it was happening in the last 5 years, what's going to happen in the next couple of decades, we're going to see an influx of people being damned to non-existence all of the other place because of the normalization of oppression and discrimination of certain groups. And we need secularism in society. You know, we need a balance where not religious people and non-religious peoples, their beliefs are all respected. We need to get back to a time where we all respect each other, and most importantly, start respecting or begin respecting people's psychology and mental health. Please cut out all the bad faith. Let's make a better world together. Let's figure out how to solve immigration. Let's figure out how to solve the survival of Christianity and religions and conservatism and civilization, and stop projecting. Anyway, so that's the video. I hope you agree. If you agree with my plea for good faith and stop exploiting people's psychology, please put a like button or a dislike button if the video wasn't good enough, and subscribe to the channel. Check out previous videos. I really appreciate it, and stay tuned for more content from the pioneer of true centrism show. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Peace with everybody. Let's all learn to love each other. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.